My name is Doobyis. This thing here is called Fly-In Formation. It's a spin-off interview series from my weekly mix show. DJ Dice and I do a weekly mix show called After the Smoke is Clear, or at Sick Radio if you like to abbreviate things. And on that mix show, we play independent hip-hop from across the country every week. Never play anything twice, always new releases. And, you know, do our best to tap in with the different scenes across the country. I find that the best way to do that is to talk to the artists themselves. If anybody knows who else is dope on each individual scene, it's the artists themselves. So tonight I've got Nohsur with me, joining from Edmonton. Welcome aboard, dude. How you doing tonight?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm good, dude. I've been looking forward to talking to you, and Jimmy Burnett is also going to come through at some point.
He's going to pop in.
Yeah, so until then, though, we can just start things up talking together here, man.
For sure.
So you got the new album, Peel's been out for a month now, right? Like, I think exactly a month today or
yeah,
something.
actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If it's the second today? Yeah, third today. Okay, so, yeah, but... What's the reception been like? How are you liking, you know, having the album out in the world?
It's been good, man. It's been good. Yeah, I'm stoked to have it out. It feels like a long time coming. I mean, I think I probably wrote my first rhyme like 20 plus years ago, and this is the first thing I ever actually officially put out. So
Nice.
Yeah, it feels good to get it out of there, or get it out there for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you did like a release show for it a little while back. How'd that go?
It was good. Yeah, it went well. I was pretty happy with the turnout and everything. And yeah, everyone killed it. Like, yeah, Jimmy played, and then I had the homie, the Modern Man played, and then Corvid Lorax actually played a set too. And it's been like, yeah,
Man. Who's the Modern Man? Is that a long time Edmonton MC? That's a name I'm not familiar with.
No, he kind of like, he's been doing stuff for like a long time, but he's someone that actually I met through work. And just ended up like, he's really dope. He's like really talented dude. So yeah, when we just kind of like got along really well. So now he like rocks with me and Jimmy all the time too.
Nice. Does he have music out there? Like, that's another reason I do these interviews, is to, you know, actually hear the names of other MCs and go out and find more music to play on ATSIC and stuff.
For sure. Yeah,
Jimmy.
He just put a single out. So he's got like one single out up on Spotify. But yeah, he's got like a ton of stuff. He's got like a full record he's been working on that I'm pretty sure is like close to being done, and it's like crazy good.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Jimmy, how you doing, man? Welcome.
Yeah, Jimmy's in here somewhere.
You hear us? I see a look of confusion. Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see you though.
Oh no? I can see you both. The stream sees you both.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, no, sir. Do you mind flipping are you on a phone right now?
Yeah, I'm just on my phone.
Mind flipping it so that it's landscape mode?
Yeah, I could probably do that. Hold up.
Just makes it prettier on the window if we're all.
Let's see. I got it.
In the same rectangle. Can
y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I can hear you too.
Yeah, nice. Welcome.
I do. That works better.
Yo, I'm on time.
Yeah, very. Damn, you're only a couple minutes after 9, man. That's beautiful. Thank you for showing up. Did you race home from work or what?
No, I got out a bit early. It kind of just happened that way. So
nice. Right on. Well, thanks for being here. So we were just starting talking about Peel's a little bit. I thought it would be funny to ask you guys to describe the vibe of Peel's, because there were a couple times when, no, sir, you've got bars about like, what's the vibe? What the fuck you think? So I just want to, you know, open this up by asking you, what is the vibe of Peel's for people who haven't listened to the album?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like at its core, it's kind of just like a record about like self-reflection and growth, but it's also about like it's reflecting on a pretty like turbulent time in my life. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I think it might sound harder than it actually is. A lot of it's like pretty like cheeky, like I'm kind of making fun of myself through the whole thing, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I can speak on the production standpoint.
Yeah,
in terms of vibe to like, I guess we were deliberately trying to go for that. Like exactly what Kyle was saying, where it comes across hard but definitely cheeky and like making fun of yourself. And we kind of like made this plan to make sure every single beat was sort of like had that super hard kind of hard drums and in your face and like blasting in your face and like have it like be almost like unsettling.
Yeah.
Like the production is
Sure.
like there's not really any like melodies that you can like hum to, but there's
Yeah.
something there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. I like to ask the artists themselves how to describe the music, because I don't want to make this into like, the Doobyis reviews your album for you
Right.
podcast or whatever, but definitely a lot of hard, knocking beats and kind of eerie vibes on some of the beats for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of a gritty feel to it or whatever, but yeah, also a lot of kind of like blue collar relatable raps, I would say. That's my 2 sentence review for the album. That's how I
That's
would
fair.
describe the vibe. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So how about the name Peels? How did you come up with that? There's a bar about like, that's not very banana peels of me, like that's not very funny or whatever, right?
Well, it's just like, yeah. So I mean, it's just about like, just don't get caught slipping. You gotta watch out for the banana peels. Is what it is.
Okay.
So that's the thing. When you think about it, it's like the line seems weird because it's like, what I'm saying before that is like me doing some weird stuff, like things that aren't good. I'm not making good choices. So you would
Right.
think that that is banana peels of you to then be slipping, but when you reflect on it as a whole, like the record is about watching out for the peels, So that's what that is.
On the intro there, was it Jimmy? Was that you shouting like "Go bananas" or whatever? Because you do
Yeah.
some like intro
Well, that was
ranting, and then
yeah,
somebody
dude.
from
Often,
outside the booth.
dude. So often that's just like because we would have so much fun in the process of recording it and making the beats together, and like when we're hanging out together here at my place where the studio is. So we would be there's so much of that, like whether we would keep it or trash it
Yeah.
or later on find out that it kind of sounds cool or so that was just like us being weird and talking mad shit and then realizing it kind of sounded cool as an intro.
Yeah, not scripted or anything by
Yeah,
any means. Yeah.
yeah.
But was the album named Peels before the Go Bananas was on there, or did you
Yes.
Oh
say,
yeah.
you do say
Yeah.
that, right? Go Bananas at the start of that. Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I it was like actually that specific part was Kyle recording, and I was telling him to like, come on, man, power up for this one. Like, don't think too much about it. I'm like, well, who gives a fuck? Peel the banana. And I was just yelling random shit, and then yeah, it just was just funny.
Yeah, that was the vibe that I got. It was just a question of like, damn, I wonder if that was the ad lib that like became the name of the album or whatever, and then you guys had it as the intro. But yeah,
No, completely shit talking random just stuff
Okay.
that we were saying.
So it sounds like you did actually get together for the sessions. It wasn't just like Jimmy sent over a beat pack and no
yeah,
sir writes to it or whatever. Like you
Yeah,
were
the
in
whole
the
thing.
same spot.
We were together for the whole thing.
So yeah.
Yeah, man.
So how does that process go? Like, do you tend to write bars and then apply them to whatever beat, or are you writing bars while Jimmy's making a beat? Or
To be fair, like I think I think normally a lot of the times how it went was like, yeah, I would have something like not fully done, but I would have something in mind.
yeah,
And then yeah, he would just play me beats and I'd be like, "Oh, this will work over that one," and then flesh it out from there. I definitely know there was a couple that like he just gave me a beat and okay, I wrote to it kind of thing, but
right, okay,
yeah.
nice. So like, you were around while most of the beats were made. Did you have kind of input into the beats being made? Like, are you choosing samples together and like
Oh yeah,
that type of
Yeah.
stuff? Okay, yeah,
For sure.
nice. Okay,
yeah. Like there was some stuff, especially working together and being in contact so frequently, we would get on a roll where we knew what the vibe was. So it was like while I'm making stuff, even working on stuff for myself or whatever it may be, I would come across stuff that would be like, oh, this is definitely Peels. So I'd like make something and then I'd send it to him and he'd be like, I don't know, it's kind of like not really, or he, you know what I mean? So we were always, even if we weren't actually together,
Right.
always sort of talking about it, and then, or then there was sometimes where like, yeah, he would be here, and I would be messing around with stuff, and we would just make a beat together that would end up being one of the tracks, or
Mm.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it went all kinds of ways, every which way you could think, it went.
Makes
Pretty much.
sense. Yeah. Often art will do that for sure. It's
Yeah.
yeah, tough to put it in too precise of boxes. But
Yeah.
how long have you guys been working together? Like, is this a first for a full project together, or like were you in a group together? What's the history
Yeah,
of you
man.
two music career?
Well, like we've been doing it together for since we were teenagers.
Yeah, because hold
Like
up, you guys are brothers, right? Like actual.
we were stepbrothers
Okay,
technically.
step brothers.
Mm.
Okay, all right.
A long time ago, my mom married his dad, and we
Okay,
were stepbrothers. But then that what didn't last very long. But we continued to be brothers, and
dope. Okay,
got
Yeah.
only got closer as time went on.
yeah, that
Especially
makes
because we have
sense.
similar interests and everything too. So
Mm.
So this is a
yeah.
long time coming. Then what was the first? Like, how early were you guys making music together? Actually, as teenagers?
Oh yeah,
So
like
Yeah,
okay,
for sure. I
yeah,
like we didn't we didn't really put a lot of music out, but like we played a lot of shows. Like we used to be playing shows like all the time. Like basically as soon as we turned 18, we were playing shows all the time.
yeah,
And
damn,
then yeah.
we
okay,
were like we were rapping, making beats in high school, and like writing, rapping, making beats. That's like when we first caught the bug, where we're like, oh, like we're heavily influenced by the stuff we listen to, and like enough to where we wanted to do it. And so yeah, as long as I've been doing it, he's been doing it. As long as he's been doing it, I've been doing it.
okay.
Which is
So,
from being like 15 years old. Actually, is when I first started messing with Fruity Loops, and then more so when we were teenagers back in the day. Though he was like he would just rap and write, and I would just make beats. So we kind of had that little duo when we were first like super young,
right.
where it was like he's the rapper, I'm the beat maker. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
we and
Yeah,
then
I wanted to ask about that too. Like the
yeah,
who
as
was on the
we
mic first, who was making beats. Yeah.
that
Okay.
was definitely Kyle. And as we got older, I kind of dived into actually writing and doing my own stuff, and then he dived into making beats. So like we both do both now, pretty much.
Mhm. Yep.
So there's
Yeah.
not a lot of brother pairings in hip hop that I can think of. Like there's one more from Edmonton, the Liberators, Self and Press. Those guys
Shout out to
kind of
them.
have the producer MC brotherhood thing
That's
going
true.
on, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
it's pretty rare, I think. I don't know. There's got to be some, but
Are those dudes the brothers Grimm? Are they actually brothers?
goddamn,
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
Edmonton. I think they are. I,
They are.
Yeah.
I think they are. Yeah, I interviewed
Yeah.
them, and I'm pretty sure they told me that they are actually brothers. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's an Edmonton thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's underground brothers all across the scene, but I don't know about
Underground brothers.
the underground brothers. That's the next album.
Yeah,
That's the name of the collab album for all of us in Edmonton.
yeah.
Yeah, or
The Underground Brothers.
a 6-person super group.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, I'd listen to it. I'd check it out for sure. So what the fuck else did I want to ask? Oh, okay. Most of the tracks on it were pretty short. There was
Yeah.
one track over 2 minutes. Was
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
conscious decision, or just how things end up?
Yeah, like yes and no. Like I guess the thing is like conscious decision in the sense of like I kind of tried to do this record with like a bit of like a punk rock ethos. Like I kind of wanted it very in your face, just like get in, get out. This is what it is.
Right.
Um, but also it all felt like really natural too, to be honest. Like I just kind of wrote, and then when I felt like I said everything I needed to say, like I don't always need 316s to say everything I need to say. Like sometimes I get that done pretty quick, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't want to try to like stretch anything out. Like I tried to keep it pretty like concise and like to the point. And yeah, so it's just like that is all very natural for sure.
Right. Um, Jimmy, is it easier to make a 2-minute long beat than it is to make a 4-minute long beat?
I don't think length of the beat necessarily matters in terms of talking about if it's easy or hard.
Okay.
Personally,
Just for
because
me and the little bit I've dabbled in, like fucking around trying to make beats, it seems
that,
daunting to go 4 minutes because you gotta do some switch ups or change ups and shit at
Yeah.
points. You know, like it's just longer to. You can't.
I know
just
what you
loop
mean.
it up,
I guess, yeah. Like if we had to be this specific as we were with this project and how it was sonically, if I
Right.
also had to double or triple the length of the beats, then yeah, that would be a little more hard, I guess. But like, I think where the easy or hard thing comes in is actually trying to capture what we want to capture,
Sure.
as opposed to the length of a beat. You know what I mean? If that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
So when you guys were sitting down to make songs, was there like a let's try to capture this feeling and then start making the song, or like
Again, it was all over the place, man. Like
okay,
it might be that feeling was kind of morphing and changing as we were working on it,
Yeah,
together
like
or not together. So it's like we kind of went through a few vibes, if
sure,
I'm being honest. Like we kind of had a moment where we thought we knew what we wanted it to go sonically, and Kyle had it kind of in his head, and then all of a sudden we're like, I don't know if that's the direction. It's something's not right about it. It's not feeling like exactly what we want. So then we'd scrap it and then start again, and then
yeah, like
and it
there
was
was a
yeah,
an almost full version of this record was completely different. Like we almost had the record done,
yeah,
and then we just decided to start over, basically. Like
how,
the intro,
yeah,
the intro song for that record was actually the halfway point originally, and it was one of the later ones that we recorded on that first iteration of it. But once we did it, we were like, oh no, I think that's actually how the record is supposed to start. So there's songs that got reworked like on different beats. There's songs that got completely axed from the whole thing, and new ones and stuff like that. So yeah,
nice, okay. How many songs would you say you made in total for that then whittled down to this?
I mean,
there was for sure like 3 that got completely cut.
I should ask more artists that question. That's an interesting question because I know that there are
No,
some
that is,
like
yeah.
big name artists who make like 90 songs and then choose the best 15 of them or whatever, right?
Yeah, we
Like,
didn't go that crazy, but yeah, I'd
yeah,
say there's at least like, yeah, I'd say 11.
okay,
Maybe 11, 12 joints, and then yeah, and then some of them, like so Sanitizer's on that record. That's the second last one. Originally that was the intro to the album, but it was on like that song's been recorded on like I think that's like the 5th or 6th different beat.
yeah, man.
okay.
There's like 5 or 6 versions of that sitting on hard drives over different beats and stuff.
You know
That's
what
one
it
of the
was
ones that
for
I played on that. Sick. Sorry, Jimmy.
you
Go
Yeah.
know
ahead.
what it I was just gonna say, you know what it was for this record specifically, more so than making an abundance of songs. It was more so like finding the right beat for the right song that Kyle has written. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we would go through beats rather than just make 14 or 15, 16 songs. It's
Okay.
like
Swap
it's
beats
kind of
out.
like it's like he had the story mapped out in his head. And this is like how long it was going to be, about 8 tracks or 9 tracks or however, you know what I mean? So it was more so like not make a bunch of songs and trim the fat. It was more so we might go through 4 beats until we find the one that matches that song, that track, that
Mhm.
feeling that Kyle has written and wants to convey. So
Mhm.
then we'd go through beats for, you know, so in terms of like beats might be up near 20.
Yeah, definitely.
Do
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That
yeah,
makes
So it
sense.
was,
So a lot of the
yeah, it
stuff
was
ended up being remixed or whatever to swap it
exactly.
onto a
So
different beat and
for sure.
yeah.
change the
So
mood.
like Kyle was saying before, there's honestly a whole nother EP of beats that were
Okay.
once these songs that are not now. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
those are just they live somewhere, whether they go one-offs, whether whoever they go, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
weird. So on Phoenix Down, there's a outro to it where you're talking about like you were
Yeah.
gonna get cuts on it and then you decided not to, and now this is here. Like your talking is there. Were
funny.
you so there's a bar in there that reminded me like the bar is right before well, I guess it's kind of like a hook or whatever at the end of the track there. It sounds like Nas from halftime. Were you gonna get
100%. Yeah,
Nas
yeah,
from halftime cut in there?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's like that. It was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's kind of what I wanted to get scratched in there too. And then it was just like we were running out of time. And
Word.
yeah, and it just like I didn't have the cuts yet, and we are like, we kind of got to send this off to like get it mastered if we're gonna like stay on track.
Okay.
But
So
then I'm
you're
like, well,
trying to meet a schedule, or what's the deadline? Most
yeah,
indie
it's like
artists are just whatever,
Sort of.
drop it when it works.
it wasn't like a super hard deadline or anything, but yeah, it's like because we were working on it for so long, so we definitely had like a time frame that we wanted to put it out in, and just like it felt like it was done, it was ready. Let's just like send it off, get it mastered, but didn't have the cuts. But I mean, that song is like probably one of the more like jokey songs on there, anyways. So I was like, oh, I'll just hop on it and just say some dumb shit at the end, and there we go.
I mean,
That's Phoenix Down.
kind of
Nice.
fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Word. Where'd you send it to get mastered? Like who did the mastering?
So that's our homie Graham, and then the company he's with is Atreus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trace XO. I think there's an XO at the end, right, Kyle? I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think it's pronounced Atreyu or
Mm.
Atreus. It's
Whatever.
he has a studio downtown. It's on 118th.
Are
Yeah.
both of you guys calling each other Kyle? Both of you guys are named
Oh,
Kyle.
yeah. Sorry. And we're both named
Okay.
Kyle as well. Yeah.
All right. All right.
I mean, that's a little backstory that is also hilarious, being stepbrothers as well.
right.
And we've had to go answer that question our whole lives.
Too many
It just
times,
so
I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom married his dad, and honestly, it just so happened that we were like so close, 6 months apart in age, and both named Kyle and both into music.
Yeah. Right.
So.
I don't know. Where do I take this after that? How about
Well, most people call me Jimmy.
yeah,
So that's, you know.
I felt that. I mean, I've met you in person. We've worked together, and I
Yeah.
didn't know your real name. I mean,
No.
I probably did when we were actually chilling last summer, but yeah.
It's Jimmy as much as Kyle's the government name, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
word. So okay, I did kind of want to ask just about like Nohsur, what's your relationship with intro and outro talking? How do you feel about intros and outros to rap songs? Because I feel like there were a few of them that were very jokey on this, and I think that there's a wide variety of, you know, ways to go about doing the intro. You know, some rappers will
sure.
just give you the classic yeah, or whatever before they're gonna rhyme to you. You know, it seems like
Yeah.
you're a little bit more inclined to go beyond that.
Yeah,
feel
I mean, I
like.
think the thing, a big thing is with me is like, as long as it doesn't feel like too like scripted and robotic,
Right.
like so that's kind of like when we were recording, it's like, we would just let the mic run the whole time, like even in between the takes. So we would, yeah. So sometimes we were just having genuine conversations and joking around, and then it's like, oh yeah, if it's like a genuine natural thing, and you can chop it up and it happens to fit in the beginning, then great. I think it's awesome. But yeah, sometimes I don't know when the intros and outros are like really scripted. I don't know. It feels a little
Corny.
tacky to me, but yeah,
Definitely.
Corny.
Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, it's like acting. I think it's a level of acting to be able to deliver
for
scripted
sure.
lines in a way that sounds authentic, right?
Mhm.
I guess whether you're rapping them or saying them as an intro or an outro, that kind of applies either way. There's
Yeah.
a skill to make it not sound,
For sure.
yeah, like you're reading it or whatever. There's also that skill while I read interview questions to you, and I'm going to completely skip it.
You know what it is though? Just to say one thing about that. It's also
Yeah.
preference. I think. Some people don't care as much. But for me, I know when I listen to things, I love hearing those moments that sound like they were like real moments that happened. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? That just ended up getting captured. Like somebody didn't realize the mic was still on after, and he's like, whatever. Should we keep that shit or?" And then they keep it in the. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
like real life things like that that you can kind of tell. You can sniff out if it's. Yes, you can be a really good actor and do that scripted, but I can sniff it out. I think you can sniff. You know what I mean? As
More
opposed
often
to it
than
being
not,
just
probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Actual
it
off
being
the
just
cuff. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I think my last EP, I was standing in the booth with my coffee cup in hand, and I say that I'm like, good morning, coffee cup in hand. Here we go.
Exactly.
Time to start rapping. And like, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
some random shit to say.
Yeah,
For
Yeah.
sure.
How about making music for people to party to? I feel like this album was not the party album necessarily. I mean, you can do it at a show and have people stand and head nod and have a good time, I'm sure.
For
but
sure.
you know.
Yeah, that wasn't that wasn't what this record was about. That's not what I was going for. But I also have nothing against it. I mean, there's a lane for everything, you know. Just this specific project that wasn't what it was.
Yeah.
What I set out to do, you know.
Be a weird party.
It would be a weird party. Yeah. Some music is headphone music. I feel like both you guys are like lyrically I want to say like poetic enough, or like that there's enough in the lyrics that like it's something you kind of got to lock onto rather than like try to have a conversation with someone else at the bar as the song plays in the background.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever try to make music for people to party to?
I mean, are we capable? Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. What does the future hold?
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah. Especially, I've been diving into a lot of different stuff lately too, and wanting to, just add a little bit more of a fun aspect, while also having other stuff that's a little more poetic or a little more deep or a little more. And I think as we, especially since we, like I was saying even before, starting out so young and not putting out a whole bunch of music, but doing this for a long time.
Right.
Only in the past 5 years or so we've been super active at actually releasing stuff. So there's a lot of stuff we got to get out and learn, I think, before we get into like, oh, what can I try now? What can I try now? What are we capable of? What do we want to do? So there's like a whole bunch of things I think that we will do in the future and want to do that you haven't even seen yet that might answer that exact question in terms of more fun music or party stuff, but in our style or my style or his style. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Our way of doing that. Yeah, I think that's
I've been noticing a lot of different people across the board in indie Canadian hip hop. That's what I'm paying attention to. I mean, I don't know wider than that if this is the trend or not necessarily, but are making music that like you could play at a festival, you know, that like you could go out there and do the festival song. And like sometimes I hear it pop up as I'm listening through the playlists and I'm like, okay, this'll be good at a festival. I'm not gonna play it on ATSIC necessarily, but like someone will dance to this and it'll be something that somebody will have a good time to. There's a time and a place for all the types of music for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How about a takeaway or a line or a takeaway from the album that you hope people don't miss?
Ooh.
There's so many.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a tough question to ask people.
That is really tough, actually.
But
you know what? I think I don't know. I don't know if I can pick a line. I mean, I think as a whole, probably just the last song, Gauze, is that's probably like the best way to really sum the whole thing up, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Your last breath is the it factor. So shoot me in the head and give my fam 100 bands after.
Yeah.
I don't what is it? I don't make headlines.
No, I could make headlines if I
could make headlines if I killed you, but I ain't really shit until my blood spills too. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Nice. How well do you know the bars on this album, Jimmy? Do you guys like when you perform? You're both mic'd up and hyping one another, I assume. Yeah, okay.
For sure.
Honestly, especially being in the process so much and like, because I didn't master the record, but I mixed it.
Oh, right. So you've listened to all these songs 1,000 times as you mix them. Yeah.
Made all the beats and then mixed the record and just sent it to get mastered. So I could honestly probably perform this record on my own.
If Nohsur gets sick, you can pop out.
I could double in and just put a mask on and
MF Doom style.
Yeah.
So Nohsur, is this your first solo album though? Like for what you've actually put out into the world, this is the first solo?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, dope. Well, congrats on that, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah. How about this I just wanted to ask to be an asshole, but if you guys battled each other, who would win?
Him.
Okay. All right.
100% no shame in admitting that.
All right. Fair.
Honestly, it's
Has
without
it ever
even
happened?
guiding it.
No,
At any point in
no,
your guys' relationship, has it been like, fuck you, no, fuck you, we're gonna rap battle? Because that would
No.
just
You know
be
what?
over the
You
top.
know what's funny?
I
In
want to see it.
every the answer to that is yes in every aspect except for rap and
For
art.
actually battling each
fair
other. Okay,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more likely to get in an actual argument than into a rap battle in real
Like,
life.
me and him are the most civil when it comes to our art, and always
Yeah,
have
for
been.
sure, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I could have guessed that there hasn't been too much dissing back and forth from you two if you're still making art together. I think normally
He's
that's the type of thing that
yeah.
ends people's artistic collaborations.
He's definitely the battler though. Like if it came down to it, he's more of a battle rapper, like traditionally speaking, than I am for sure.
Okay. How about freestyling? If you guys are in a cipher, do you prefer to go off the top or are you spitting or written?
Oh, I'm trash off the top. I just write.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
know
never
what?
really been a dude that freestyles. Like definitely more writing for sure.
Fair enough. I hear that. If there's anybody looking, I don't like freestyling. If you know, if I'm just hanging out with homies or whatever, freestyling's fun. But
Fair. Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm definitely more of a writer, more of a premeditated person, more of like I'm gonna create something and then show it to you, kind of thing.
right.
And what's funny is when I used to drink, I've got some pretty dope freestyles off before. I think it was because I was looser and I wasn't, you know what I
Sure.
mean? Like
Yeah.
now being sober, everything's more calculated in terms
Right.
of what I release or what I write or but if you get me drunk, I could probably freestyle pretty good, I think.
Well, all right. I mean, that's a question that
Or
I've
you
been
just
asking
think
people.
you're good at it because you're drunk, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying. Like,
that could be
but
too. Yeah.
I think it's also like if you practice though, you can get good. Like if you're good at
For sure.
rapping physically. I was talking to Touch about this the last time I saw him at a show.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, that's his Touch is a pretty good freestyler.
He's good at actual freestyles.
You know what I mean? Like he's
Can
got
confirm.
it locked. He's locked in. And it's practice, man. He's like, you just go and try and fail or not fail and look stupid, say stupid things. And like it's like just exercising and practicing.
Yeah.
There's no other way to get good at freestyling. If you already have the foundation where you can rap, you know what I mean?
I think it takes like a huge amount of humility, like to just be able to like be that vulnerable to actually like be willing to go off the top and if you fuck up, just be able to step back and be like, yeah, I fucked up. That's how that went. Like,
and then you naturally get better.
Yeah.
From like messing up or saying dumb things or having enough confidence. Your confidence gets greater, you know what I mean? And then you start getting better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally. How about this? When's the last time you guys wrote a bad verse? I want answers from both of you.
I mean, Kyle's like every day, eh?
A bad one every day?
Well, yeah, just because you write so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, I don't know, a lot of times, like, I write at least something every day. So it's like, sometimes I just sit down and I'll just write random bullshit. And then it's like, I'll get like one good bar out of like 6. And then I'm like, okay, well, like, you know, whatever, these other 5 or whatever, I was just goofing around and I'll keep this one and build that into something. In terms of like a full fleshed out verse that I would consider bad, I mean,
Never.
yeah, I don't want to sound too full of myself, but I don't think any of them are bad.
That makes sense. A lot of ways, that's a way for me to ask people like how much you write, you know, because I'm sure not everything everybody writes actually hits the mic and gets put out to the world or whatever, right? So
yeah.
It take a really long time though for me. I'm different than him. It's more of a process for me where it's like, because I know how some people like, even how he was saying how he'll write a lot, but he might scrap 75% of what he wrote today and then keep 25%. And then tomorrow, same thing. But for me, I don't write in abundance and scrap and keep. It's like whenever I do write, I'm keeping. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So
So
you perfect what you're writing. You're not just gonna write something down unless you like it, pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I don't actually write anything that I don't want to keep. I
I
don't know
hear
if that
that.
makes
No,
yeah.
that makes perfect sense to me.
So I'm either not writing or I'm writing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Writing with
not like a
purpose as
yeah,
compared
that's
to
what it is.
just
It's just
writing
more
for practice,
exactly.
kind of. Yeah. There have
Mhm.
been times in my life where I made myself write a verse a day, and at those times it was just writing for practice. Like it was like write
Well, that's
whether you're
good.
inspired or not. I read a book that
Yeah,
told me,
Sure.
you know, to be a pro, you should be able to do your thing whether you're inspired or not. You shouldn't sit and wait for inspiration or whatever.
so that's very true, I think.
Right? Yeah. So, uh, just to kind of get the pen sharp, I sat and wrote a verse a day or whatever. But
Yeah.
nowadays,
I think it's also different because the way I make music is I don't know, I'm like less of a like a rapper where it's like I think about the song.
hmm,
You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm not just like a verse writer kind of guy. Like, yeah, let me get off a 16, let me get off another 16. Like I think Kyle's more so he's like better at doing that. You know what I mean? But if I'm writing, it's like I'm writing a song and I have to like
have a
with
concept
purpose.
and a
Yeah, do you know
thesis
what I mean? Like
statement to it. Okay.
yeah, so it's like I'm going and I'm creating this song as opposed to just writing a verse that might fit on a beat. For me personally, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, you guys both being from Edmonton going to the rematch Stanley Cup this year here.
Oh yeah.
I've seen one or two tracks. I think I saw one. I can say for sure that I saw one. Like "Let's Go Oilers" rap song come out of Edmonton
Oh man.
for this. I wanted to ask about it. When I thought about it 20 minutes before the interview, I was like, this will be a funny thing to ask these guys about. Would you ever do a "Let's Go Oilers" song where you name drop Oilers and things like that in an effort to
Personally,
get more plays?
nah. Personally, me, no. It's not. It's not really my thing. I mean, no, no.
You're not even a hockey fan, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm not even a big hockey fan, anyway.
Oh,
So
okay. Sure.
Yeah, I'm a big Oilers fan, but never ever would I do something like that. It's like I don't know. It's hockey for me is like so separate from music. It's like one of the things I use to escape music.
It's one of the
You know what I
furthest
mean?
cultures from music that I enjoy in any capacity, I would
Yeah,
say.
I
You
love
know,
fair.
like,
hockey, but it actually it lets me have a break when I need to have a break from working too much on music. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like if
yeah,
you watch TV or watch whatever, like so hockey's like a separate little thing that I enjoy aside from music that takes me away from music if I need a break. Do you know what I mean?
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So I
It's
would never
just
mix.
it's just like the classic complaint that like, oh, the DJs at the, you know, Raptors game aren't even playing Toronto artists or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I guess that sure. But
Also,
yeah,
like
no, I
what you
don't
were
think it's a
saying,
good
where
thing to do. Sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
no, I was just gonna say where people make songs deliberately to latch on to the hype. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that, I think is kind of like okay, man. Like, and it's
People are
just some
punching
song that's
Oilers into YouTube. I should have an
yeah.
Oilers song.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't I think Cadence Weapon made probably the first one and the biggest one?
Oh no, not the first one. Oh shit, no.
No,
There's every time the Oilers hit the playoffs, there's a new one of these things. There was Cadence did one last year, and he
was it last? It was before last year. It was a long time ago. I thought.
Yeah, I thought he did one quite a while ago.
Yeah,
oh
I could be
okay, so
wrong,
he
but
probably did one quite a while ago that I've forgotten by now, but he definitely did one last year
okay.
when he because I remember he
another
like
one.
flew from Montreal to shoot a video in front of the Gretzky statue last year.
Really?
Oh
Yeah,
So he
shit.
as
made
they
it.
were on
He
their
made
playoff
another
run.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
I
I just
don't know
remember
the
that.
name of it off the top of my head, but I remember it happening. Yeah.
Yeah, the one I remember is the one that's literally called Connor McDavid.
Okay. Um.
The hook
Yeah,
is
that
literally
sounds
just
familiar.
Connor McDavid him saying it. was the
No,
first one
this
I heard.
this was something different. Oh, we got Epic in chat. Epic says he was the first to make to make the
Right?
Oilers
Aw,
song.
Hemsky.
Aw, Hemsky. Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
Oh,
saying,
that's
what's up,
right.
Epic?
Yeah. I mean, that's yeah. See, but that's like a cool.
Were they on
Like,
a cup run
shut-
at that point though, Epic? I don't feel like they could have been.
No, but shouts to Epic for just like incorporating that, and that was like that's
Yeah,
a
that
big
feels like tasteful, you know.
Yeah.
That's not something where it feels like someone trying to like latch onto the hype of like a sports
Exactly.
team or something. Yeah, you know.
Right.
He was just talking about things that he lived and he loved in his music. Epic. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Repping
and I
Edmonton.
remember seeing packed bars yell, "Oh, Hemsky!"
Of course, it's a classic, man.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that wasn't during the 06 Cup run though. I can't be sure because I
Yeah, I
wasn't
don't
don't
know.
know when he
that
put
tapped
that. It was
in at
after
that point. I don't think.
that.
But okay, yeah. Hmm.
Shout
Hey,
out
no,
to
sir.
Epic.
Yeah, shouts to Epic. I talked to him on Sunday actually. If
Oh,
you guys are
word,
bored,
word.
come through. We're talking at 3:00 on Sunday. Yeah,
No.
about his new album. He dropped an album with the Deadly Stare, a Halifax-based
Right.
producer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, sir. Do you get more fulfillment on stage or in the studio?
Yeah, I'm definitely more like a studio guy for sure. I
Yep.
like creating the actual art is definitely more. Yeah, like I enjoy it more. Not to say that I don't enjoy playing shows, but in terms of like fulfillment, yeah, creating it is definitely
Yeah.
more for me.
Yeah, I mean, goes without saying. I think everybody gets some sort of rush from performing or whatever, but
For sure.
yeah, a lot of guys don't answer that question that way. A lot of guys that I've talked to tell me, you know, they do it for the rush on stage, and that's what it's all about or whatever. What about you, Jimmy? I feel like maybe I asked you this last time we talked for Flying Formation, but that was years ago at this point.
That was years ago at this point. For me, it's both, man. I think it's definitely like 50-50 or 60-40.
Okay.
60 being performing.
Yeah. Okay.
There's just so much that I love about both equally that it's hard for me to say I like one better. I wouldn't want to live in a world where I didn't have either. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
How about this is something I haven't asked anybody, but I saw Carney kind of talking about like how Canada needs to step away from social media in America or something along those lines, and I was like, oh shit, maybe we're gonna get our Canadian streaming app, which will totally replace what I'm doing on AdSick if it were to happen. but would you guys think that that's a good idea? Canadian streaming app?
Wow. I mean, what would that look like? What would that?
Or I don't know, like SOCAN running a streaming app or something along those lines, right? Like to
Strictly
me,
for Canadian.
well, I'm sure other countries could tap into it, but it would be exclusively for Canadian artists, maybe something along those lines.
With the purpose being to give more shine to
to
Canadian
build the
artists.
industry.
Yeah.
Bro, the industry has so much talent, and just
That
like
is true, yeah.
it's got nobody pushing it like it should.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know, the CBC needs to give me a paycheck or something. The
Yeah, for
CBC
sure.
has a bunch of money, you know,
For real.
like somebody should be paying attention to this culture and promoting the artists in it, because there's so much dope music every fucking week after week. So much dope music
Absolutely,
comes out, and people just sleep
that's
on
crazy.
it. You know, the average person in Edmonton, average person in Calgary, even Toronto or whatever. Like Toronto, they might know a handful of rappers out there, but it's not even the guys that I play on AtSick. Like it's like the more like mainstream sounding guys making like, you know, rap and drill and like the real like, you know, inner city gangster shit.
Right.
And I don't mean shit in a negative way. Whatever, all the power to them. Make
just
that music.
stuff.
But that stuff, yeah. And
What was Carney saying about? What were you saying about what Carney was doing?
He's
I
just
know
saying we should
Carney's-
move away from like American social media companies.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. And I know he said he was going to give the CBC 150 million extra or whatever. So it definitely seems like he's looking to boost the entertainment industry in some way, which like,
Crazy,
know, I've been slapping Boycott America on the cover of every Atzik episode this year because like, fuck it, we have a scene up here that's worth listening to. You know,
Absolutely,
all the power to the Americans and the guys that paved the road and all the legends we all grew up listening to. But at this point, I mean, we don't really need to do that. We have a fully functioning artistic economy up here. It's just the money is not there. So
and honestly, that's kind of crazy to hear like the prime minister even mention stuff like that, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well,
That's
I mean, I think he was
cool.
more talking about like disinformation on the platforms and this type of thing, that like he's worried about people vote being swayed and this, that, the other, probably. But I mean, he did say he wants to fund the CBC more. So, you know, I don't know. I just brought this topic up. I didn't really have a pointed question for this one. It's just brainstorming about ideas to make the Canadian industry stronger.
Does Carney like hip hop?
Trudeau does. Have you seen Trudeau's kid?
Yeah, his kid raps or something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Zav Trudeau. Right. I wouldn't call it rapping. He's making like, I mean, it's like sing rap. You know, he's doing the sing rap thing. Lots of melody to his delivery, but I don't know. Some of the like best promo I've seen was him. He was posting videos where he's sitting beside his dad listening to his new songs, and his dad was like, "Oh, I don't think I've seen this video," and he's like, "Oh, I got 3 videos," and like, I don't know. It was the most humanizing thing I've seen Justin Trudeau do. You know, just like sitting there with his teenage son listening to his rap songs or whatever. Yeah. It's a trip that like ex prime minister's son is pushing music on the world now, but I don't know. All the power to him. It'll be interesting to watch. I've talked about it before that it'll be interesting to watch what his music journey looks like. Just like as a case study of like what happens if you have all the power in the world behind you and you want to try to be a star. Not too much to say on that one, but people should definitely look at it and check out Zav Trudeau's music.
What's his name?
Zav X. I think it's Xavier is like his full name.
Okay.
Yeah, XAV or whatever is how he spells his name. Hey, do you guys think that your sound represents your city or stands apart from it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's hard to answer. I mean, I don't know if it's either, to be honest. I mean, there's so much different stuff in Edmonton. Like, I know. Does Edmonton really have a sound? Like, I like if I had to pick one person that I was going to be like, this is Edmonton's sound, then I'd probably say like what Touch is doing. But
I think Edmonton's sound is some lyrical miracle shit, man. Like,
I guess, yeah.
As bad as that cliche is, and like typically brings bad things to mind for people, like Edmonton has a lot of lyrical motherfuckers, you know. Who,
that's true. Yeah.
But I think there's like a undertone of like you were saying what you get from Peels, like that gritty
blue collar shit too. Yeah.
If there was a sound,
that's a good point too.
Yes, it is. Edmonton's a lot of lyrical miracle rappers, a lot of like lyrics first kinds of guys.
Lyrical miracle sounds bad, I guess, but lyrics first, that sounds good. Yeah.
I know what you're saying though.
Or just a lot of effort and thought and love and care into the craft of lyricism.
Yeah,
that's definitely a big thing coming from this city. You can see it actually from the guys that make all different types of sounding music.
Yeah,
that's sort of still in it. You know what I mean? That,
definitely. Even the trap music coming out of Edmonton is like more lyrical than the trap music coming out of, you know, Winnipeg or Toronto. Like I can say that confidently that like or and even the guys doing big numbers, you know, like Forever Friday or whatever, like those kind of guys are doing things a little bit more lyrically than some other artists in that lane tend to.
Yeah, and I think I guess speaking for myself or us or the music, I think there is always that element of like that blue collar, that gritty, that Edmonton vibe to our music.
Right.
So you could say like that's the sound of Edmonton, but then also in a way where I like to think that the stuff that me and Kyle make is it doesn't sound like anybody else in this city. It's very different, and I don't know if it's even sounds Canadian sometimes, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And
I mean,
I've heard other people say that too, with certain stuff. Traditionally, when you hear Canadian hip hop, people have this like idea in their head about what it sounds.
do you think
It's
they do? What do you think Canadian hip hop sounds like?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that. That's I don't
Right.
know.
I don't
Maybe
have a
Jimmy.
specific sound in my head when I think of Canadian
Yeah,
hip hop, but I have
whenever
talked about how like I feel like billing Atzik as like 100% Canadian hip hop. It's
mm,
like I'm gonna keep doing it because I want to champion the scene.
for sure.
But I know that a lot of people probably see that and go like, why am I gonna listen to Canadian hip hop? Fuck
yeah,
that. Like,
see, whenever I've talked to people, uh, in terms of like what they think Canadian, and this is speaking on more like independent level
okay, yeah,
or like underground sort of stuff. It's like prairie rap. It's like there's
right,
a specific sound that's like you can kind of hear like an accent, you know, in
yeah.
it, like a Canadian
Couple of hard
accent.
R's,
Yeah,
you
and
know, like out
it's
east
not
or
even like
whatever, and
not even
uh,
joking, but it's like a you know, like even
the car,
think about a guy like Classified.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he
You can
makes
definitely hear his accent. Yep.
yeah. So like certain stuff like that, whereas some
When
rappers
when
that they
somebody
are
says about,
Canadian,
you can tell.
yeah.
You
Some
know?
rappers that are Canadian though they don't necessarily have that accent. So it's like that's why like some people have thought my music was from like some people have thought that I was from Detroit or that I was from some state somewhere. Like they didn't think that I was Canadian.
Mm,
Some of the people that have messaged me online and stuff that like some of my songs or whatever.
yeah.
So it's just interesting to see. Whereas if I was making that prairie rap sound, do you know what I mean? Like I think there is a thing that this isn't coming from my opinion, just me talking to people. When they hear Canadian rap, underground hip hop, they think it's like that kind of prairie sound. That you know what I mean? It's like
Right. Yeah.
that Classified or just like that where you can tell Buddy's Canadian by his voice or his accent. You know what I
when he
mean?
almost emphasizes it, you know, he's
Yeah,
gonna write a song
yeah,
about Canadian cliches or whatever, and like
yeah,
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 use a East Coast accent like
yeah,
very emphatically on songs or whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
I talked to a guy, Hermit of the Woods, who has a track. I think it's called like Scotian slang or something like that, where like he just leans into the Nova Scotia
Yeah.
accent, and yeah, uh, it's
There's even
dope.
guys like that here from Alberta that are like
Well,
really like fucking yeah, fucking a right, bud. You know
Birda
what I mean?
Boys.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you can hear that in their music too.
The
Yeah,
Calgary guy, like he's got a song, fucking Alberta Big Dick Swinging or something along
yeah,
those lines. I'm
yeah,
like,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
think I've
let's
heard
make
that.
songs
Yeah.
about pickup trucks, like, and that's the
yeah,
most popular fucking rapper in Alberta if you go by the numbers or whatever.
yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, he's doing something right. Somebody likes it.
yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, so we're almost at the hour mark. I want to ask you guys a couple of these how important questions that I ask everybody so that I can add them to the montage of people answering the same things.
Sure.
Um, how important is having a hype man for a stage show?
I,
And
I don't know if it's important, but it's cool to have. I mean, it definitely adds to it, but I don't necessarily think you need it. Like I'm there's a ton of people that can just go rock a set by themselves and kill it.
For
You
sure.
know, so I don't know if it's necessary, but it helps. Like it definitely adds to it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
Do you guys prefer performing together? Like even if you're just performing, you know, a Jimmy Burnett set, is it preferable to have Nohsur jump up and hype
Oh, yeah,
and vice versa?
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I enjoy it also just because I'm genuinely like Jimmy's music. I don't just
yeah,
like it because it's my brother. So it's like, oh, if I get to go up there and like rock it with you, it's fun for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely the most fun ever performing is together. So
Yeah.
it's a preference like over anything. If we have the ability to play every show together, I would. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important what you said there, Nohsur, about like, you know, you need to like the music. Somebody actually needs to, you know, really enjoy the music to be a good hype man. You shouldn't have somebody
For
up
sure.
there who half-assing it.
Yeah.
I haven't actually asked this one, but it's like a popular MC topic over the years that I've heard many critiques of anyways. How important is how you hold the microphone?
I think it's pretty important.
Yeah, this is one. You can tell a
Yeah.
lot. You can tell a lot from a person about this one.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And
what would you say you can tell about a person, Jimmy? That sounds interesting. Can you tell their fortune or anything like that? Tell what's coming next?
no, I just mean certain things like experience level or and I don't mean how you hold it, like if you have a way you hold it. I mean, some people really, really like to cup that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
cover
it's
the
like,
entire
yeah,
end
or
of the
be too
microphone.
far away, or be too far away from it.
Right.
How you hold it doesn't matter. It's like where you hold it, I think, is what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like
I think
can
it's
see a
different
lot
for
of,
different people's voices and deliveries too, right? Like,
or
Yeah, for sure.
if you're singing or rapping or
yeah,
yelling loud or quiet, think of it the same way as when you're recording. It's like
yeah,
if you want in a really intimate setting, you're not going to be far from the mic. Maybe when you're belting a note and then you come back into it to keep that intimacy. Do you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
But it's just knowing how to use it. But then you see a lot of people, or some people, I think, at rap shows, they just muffle that thing, and then you can't. It's
Yeah, you
like you
can't hear
can't
it.
even. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and
right.
it's like you can't hear. I can't hear what you're saying because your hand is around the mic. And so maybe it's not how you hold it, but like where you hold it, or I don't know. You know what I
Well,
mean? You can
I
just
think
tell.
the more time you spend on stage, the more time you spend actually rapping
Yeah,
into a microphone rather than just like rapping with your friends. Because right, like
exactly.
probably a lot of guys just rap with their friends, or you know, can rap on the street corner just fine.
Yeah.
But then somebody hands them a microphone at a cipher that they're kind of not used to being to, and
Yeah.
it's like, then you can tell, okay, this guy's not used to rapping on this microphone.
Yeah. You know what's
Exactly.
another thing too? How many people do you ever see in sound check test that shit out?
Right.
You're not just rapping in a mic and be like, all right, we're good. Like literally try. Go
How
from
important
here.
is sound check? That's another one on my
Go
list. Let me
yeah,
ask you
go
right now.
closer. Go closer. Go from here. You know what I mean? Like try to do that stuff and take notes
Yeah.
on yourself and like be like, okay, I'm gonna deliberately try to hold it in this place because it sounds the best right here. And then
Right.
you know what I mean? Like do that for you. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Figure
Sound
out
check.
where you can walk on stage before the speakers start yelling at you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
shit. Yeah.
shit's always
Yeah.
funny.
Sound check, I think is, yeah, it's important if you want to have a good show. I mean, like there's some people that are just super talented that can probably just walk up and kill it. But yeah, I think sound check's pretty important if you want to give people a good show.
Yeah. Apparently, there are some artists who have their own sound man. Have you guys ever heard of that? Like, people have answered this question by being like, well, if you're an artist who has your own sound man, and I kind of thought, like, you show
I
up
mean,
to the
that'd be
venue and just be like, yo, the sound man's going to go over and take over your audio now. Like,
Interesting.
I don't know. I've never heard of that before. Every venue I've
Yeah.
ever been to has a sound man who's there running the audio
yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
I
But,
can't say I've ever personally seen someone with their own sound man before.
right?
Or
Like,
maybe they just
if you're
yeah.
Beyonce, maybe, or something, like, I'm sure
Yeah,
she
yeah.
has her own
Right.
sound man, but
Or
wow.
just a person that works with the sound person at the venue. But then like
Yeah.
what do you yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot of extra
Shouts to the
uh,
sound men out there.
shouts to this.
For
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
I remember doing one show. The fuck was that place upstairs on White Ave? And dude had, I was yelling out ad libs just like over top of dice scratching, and he started fucking echoing my ad libs or whatever, and I was like, yo, this guy is on point, like super with it.
Yeah, shouts to the really good sound guys.
So shouts to the good sound guys, yeah. I mean, we kind of already talked about it. How important is stage banter or storytelling between songs while you're on stage? I guess we talked about it more on albums than, on stage.
I think it's cool. I think it's fun. And going back to even how you're doing it on the records, uh, there's an element that's where the acting comes in that you're talking about. Because
Okay,
you
so you
don't.
plan out what you're going to say between songs and then try to
I,
deliver it like you're
I think there's an element to
improvising
that
it.
that you can pull off
Hmm.
because it's a live show, but it can't be too. It's gotta like be natural, but that's where that acting skill comes in, where it's like, because I'll definitely have things pre-planned
Right.
that I want to say or do at shows, but they don't know that, and I can do it in such a way where it sounds like to them that I didn't think of that 2 hours ago that I want to do on stage. You know what I mean? If that
Do you think
that
that there's a level of I'm going to make the same argument that you made about on albums, that you can
I
tell even if a guy
I
is
know
doing the pre-planned
I
stuff
know
and he's doing it well, sometimes you can still tell this is a pre-planned thing. And I
I
feel
knew
like
you were
on
gonna do
stage you
that.
can tell that too, like
I think there's a difference.
the
Uh,
best banter might be spontaneous though. I don't know. What,
the reason
maybe?
the
I think
reason
the
I think
best
there's
banter is spontaneous for sure.
yeah, regardless, I agree with that. But I
Okay.
think there is a difference in terms of like when you're lost in the moment at a show as a fan or an audience member, I think you're a little less conscious of trying to pick apart that exact
Mm,
thing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're listening to a song and it's on record and you can rewind it, play it, rewind it, play it, and you hear it over and over again because it's in the song, there's a little more conscious like being able to hear that. But like at a show, if you're good at it, like I said, where you said this, like there's a certain skill, an acting skill that you can get to, where you
right.
can sort of make that seem a little bit. And I think that's only applies to the live part of it and tastefully. But
It's like how a stand-up comedian, it seems like it's
exactly,
the first time he's delivering those jokes, but you know
perfect,
fucking well that he's delivering those jokes at every stop he goes to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
perfect example, dude. Perfect
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's a little bit more just for Nohsur because Jimmy, you're sober now. So how important is any substance to your artistic process? I mean, you can answer that too from that side of the fence, though, I guess, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's not really important to it. I mean, I drink still, but it's like I don't know, it's not really like that necessarily fuels my art, you know? It's like I'd be making it either way, you know?
You think you can freestyle better drunk?
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna say no. I'd probably be worse, to be honest.
Really?
I think so.
Fair. Uh, anything to say on that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, me and you talked about it before when where I
Did I
was,
ask you this one? I might have. This one might have been on the
or
list back then. I don't know.
or something similar to it,
Right.
and based off of me, like in sobriety and stuff. I think, yeah, same kind of thing I was saying before, where I don't know if it's important. I mean, I think maybe whether as long as you don't have an issue with it or a problem with addiction, you know what I mean? That's a whole other
Sure.
podcast.
Yeah.
But I think no matter what, maybe everyone owes it to themselves to like take a break and see what that looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you've been doing it, at least maybe figure that out. Maybe it'll help. Maybe you're like, whatever. I'm kind of better if I just have a few beers. Then,
Yeah.
but you don't know until like I feel like everyone owes it to themselves to experiment with that a little bit. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
How often do you write sober? No, sir.
I mean, more often than drunk, for sure. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Like I can't even remember the last time.
yeah.
If I'm being honest.
You know, I'm
Well,
definitely,
I won't
you know,
lie. Most of the time, if I'm gonna write lyrics, I'm not gonna be sober. I'm smoking something. But there have been times in my life, like Jimmy said, where actually because it was for a paycheck, hey, come in, make music 9 to 5 with clients. Okay, well now I got to be sober,
right.
and that was a question of can I still do it? And yeah, I can
Maybe
still
you
do
should,
that sober. It's
and maybe one should always be treating it as if it was for a paycheck, whether it is or
there you
whether.
go. There now maybe.
Yeah,
Professionalism and shit, right?
Right?
And that's what I mean about the experiment. Try it, give it a shot. If you're the guy that always smokes or always drinks beer,
Yeah.
try not drinking or smoking for 3 months and writing songs and treating it
Mhm.
like as if you would when you're like, oh, I can't drink or smoke this one because I'm getting paid for it. Try doing that and see what and then take notes.
Yeah.
And then see what happens. And then if you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? Like, but you never know. That's what I mean by like owing it to yourself.
That would be kind of a fun, like, I don't know, experiment type thing. I don't know about 3 months, but maybe I could do a couple of weeks and try to put an
Yeah.
album together, you know?
Yeah.
Like do the
Okay,
sober album.
I'll produce it. I'll make the beats for it. You
Hey,
don't.
deal.
You stop smoking weed for 3 weeks. I'll make some beats and we'll make that the concept of the record.
There you go.
All right. And during that time, I'll be able to save enough money to actually put the music out
Yeah, exactly.
once it's done.
See?
Yeah. Jimmy, apologies about those songs. We'll put those out to the world. I think I might just drop them on Bandcamp. How do you guys feel about going Bandcamp exclusive with music? Are people over Spotify yet?
I've thought about this, man, so many times. I'm just trying to play the game at this point, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I like Bandcamp more than I like Spotify,
yeah,
but I feel like just the majority of people are still using
Have
Spotify.
Spotify on their phone. Yeah.
So that's why my stuff's on Spotify. But if it was like if I could only choose one or the other, like yeah, I like Bandcamp better. I like the fact that you can buy music from people. It's like
Right.
I like to purchase music from people, you know.
we
As
talked
opposed
about
to
this. We
I
talked about
talked to
this too, man.
Seraphin on Friday, just recently, a couple days ago. I talked to Seraphin, and he's a Calgary-based MC, and he just dropped an EP, 4 tracks. And he says once he sells 4,000 copies of that 4-track EP that sells for $5 on his website, then it'll go to streaming.
then it'll
And
go
I was like,
fair.
you know, that might be smart, but at the same time, if you're just looking for new listeners still, you know, and all of us indie artists are probably still at that stage where the more
Absolutely,
listeners,
yeah.
the better.
And I think that's the point that I'm trying to realize or tap into. There's certain things you can do, but you have to play this game first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have to get to the point where that makes sense for you to do.
Right.
If you're doing that right out the gate, then it's like pulling teeth to get people to buy your $1 song.
Yeah, if you don't already have like an established fan.
You know what I
base.
mean?
Yeah.
So you should be using these tools as much as you can. I know it's not ideal. It's like, you know, guys like us, like we're like, yeah, I'd much rather be selling my music on Bandcamp and not even have to use the streaming services. Period. Yeah. I'd be cool if they didn't exist, honestly. We all can agree on that. But like at the same time, it's so saturated and so many people making music that you have to like cross bridges as you get to them and not get ahead of yourself, you know. You need to be able to have it make sense that you're going to be able to sell 4,000 before you want to just say that.
If you're going to no, of course. And I was going to actually elaborate that he has, I think, kind of a plan to get it into New Year's outside of the streaming, which I think is necessary. So he was talking about he's going to go busk. He was talking about going and doing like Harry Mack style on the street freestyles and trying to sell people an SR code for a download.
Before that, I thought about that too.
Yeah, well, and you guys used to busk, didn't you? Or did you guys busk together?
I've done a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I was thinking of and like wanting to get back into. But then you get busy in life and stuff. And I'm like a 37-year-old dude on the corner rapping is a little different from when I'm 19. Do you know what I mean? But
for sure.
A little bit different. But I mean, one of the differences though too is that like, you know, you're 20 years more experienced. You're that much doper at this point, probably.
Exactly.
That's a good way to look at it as well, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you'd still be impressive. People would, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that a 20-year-old, 18-year-old, 17-year-old, they might see you and be like, look at this old head trying to rap, you know. The 17-year-olds are going to hate on us anyways. Like,
exactly.
It's going to be what it's going to be with people that are too young to tell anything to, you know.
Yeah.
And I was the same way when I was young like that too.
We all were, man.
Yeah. Can't tell anybody shit when that is. Fair enough. How about this? How important is having a theme or a concept for an album?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, yeah, I think it's important, but like also at the same time, like with my stuff, it's like it's all pretty like it's not like, yo, this is my song that's like about this specific topic. It's just kind of like here are like the overarching themes of the project, and like I think it's good to have that.
Yeah.
But like along the way, nothing's too specific. Like it like there's 2 or 3 different themes overall for the project, and all the songs kind of fit into those themes. But I'd never really have I like there's probably really only a couple songs even on Peels that are like pretty specific about something. A lot of it's still pretty like stream of conscious, but
Yeah,
yeah,
there's the one
there's
track on there
overarching.
about like having no time or what, having no money to give to people who are asking for money
Yeah,
on the streets,
like so like
basically,
yeah,
right?
time and directions like that. That's one
Time
that's
and
got like a
directions. Yeah,
pretty
that's the one.
yeah pretty strict concept to it. But yeah, I think it's good for an overall project to have themes to it for sure.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. You agree,
Yeah,
Jimmy?
I agree. I think time and a place, or it depends on whatever you want to do. If you have a cool idea that's super conceptual and that's what you're working on, that's what you want to put out, then yeah, do it to your best ability. But also I'm the same way with other stuff where it's like uh if you just want to make a song that's fun because you had fun making it,
Right.
not
Yeah, that's cool
necessarily
too.
super
Of
deep,
course.
then it's kind of like when I put out that boiling water song. That's what that was. It's not really all that deep. It's literally just about drinking coffee in the morning and then tea at night.
Mm.
Uh,
And it was
yeah.
really fun to write that way and really fun to just write about something so not deep. You know what I mean?
Just kind of drop it as a one shot, right?
Yeah. Well, that was on the record, but that's I don't know. I don't know why I kind of put that one on that record to be honest, but that's a whole
Jimmy,
other podcast.
I wanted to ask you about that fucking dope visual you had where it was like fucking lightning bolts
Yeah.
behind
Yeah,
you.
yeah, man.
Tell me about shooting that, or like how did you line
Yeah,
up with
dude.
that?
That was cool. So that was at Red Room Studios here in Edmonton.
Okay.
Um, it's a really, really cool spot. Their Instagram is Red Room Studios, I believe, too.
Okay.
Uh, so
I'll hit
when I
follow.
when I there was a competition like the Loud Sessions that Night Shift Entertainment put on back in November and last year.
Okay. You
Um,
won that shit, and that was the
I
prize. That
I
were
did. I won it. That was one of many prizes.
dope.
It was cool. It's like they do a couple a year or something in all different cities across Canada. Um, it was at Union Hall in Edmonton.
Yeah, is Night Shift not based out of Union? I feel like
Yeah, yeah,
everything Night
Yeah, I
Shift
thought it
does is
was.
out
Yeah.
of Union. Okay, so
yes,
they
yeah,
also do stuff across Canada. What you just said?
yes, yeah. That specific
News to me.
competition.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and I think they do promote and put on shows all across Canada. I think too,
Okay.
but they're based out of Edmonton. Night
Right.
Shift, I
Yeah.
believe. But yeah, anyway, there was like a rap competition, MC competition where you get like 2 songs. Uh, go up and play any of your 2 songs, and then there's 5 judges, and then they judge your stuff, and then whoever wins a bunch of prizes like studio time. One of them was a recording session, like a visual music video sort of thing from Red Room.
Right.
Blah blah blah. A whole bunch of other prizes, cash, this that, and yeah. So I've been kind of sitting on that one for a while. Part of the prize. I guess there's no real expiration date on it, but when I put that Sunk song out, I was like, oh, this is a good opportunity. This is like a big song. I feel like it's got this vibe to it.
Yeah,
And
it
they just so
deserves
happened,
deserves some clean visuals for sure.
yeah, it deserves
Yeah.
some visuals like that. So then I was like, yeah, this is perfect to use that for. And then, so yeah, I hit him up. And then they had that lightning room available.
How'd the
So
post do? Like,
it's good.
you got a lot of attention on it. Did it go viral? Are you a sensation now?
No, it didn't go viral. I mean, I threw some ads at it, some Instagram ads at it. Uh, posted like the full length and then posted a clip of it. I think I'm still gonna keep throwing it out there too a little bit and see what happens. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool.
man.
It was
That's a nice shiny visual for a good song. It deserves a push for sure.
for sure.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I met him for the first time when I went to go do that, but I forget his name, the guy that runs Red Room. I'm so bad with names and shit, so I feel terrible.
It's tough on the fly in interviews too. People blank on names all the time.
Yeah, but I'm just horrible with that. I can see his face right now. He's a really nice guy, the guy that runs Red Room Studios. But yeah,
Right.
that's their Instagram.
Any visuals coming from Peels?
No, I don't have anything planned. Like, I'll probably film like a bunch of reels. Like, I'm gonna try to do that for sure, just for the algorithm gods, you know, get some
Yeah.
content out there. But
Walk around
nothing,
and rap or whatever.
yeah, like
Yeah.
nothing of like that caliber. Like, I'm probably not gonna be dumping money on some really crazy visuals. Like, I'll definitely shoot some stuff myself, but
Yeah. Dope. I mean, I think honestly, that's all it takes. That's it. The better it looks, the better, I guess. But I
that's
don't think anybody's too adverse to seeing rappers just on their feed rapping.
yeah.
Okay, I want to ask like one or two more of these how important questions to you guys, and then we can wrap this thing up. I promise.
It's all good, man.
Cool. How about how important is another artist's opinion of your music?
Ooh.
I don't really think it's that important.
Yeah, this is where me and you might defer.
As long as I like my stuff, you know? I don't know. I mean, obviously, like, having people's, like, opinion and, like, constructive criticism is always good. It's not like I'm just like, I don't give a fuck what people have to say, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm happy with what I made, then, you know, that's what it's all about, you know?
yeah.
But
That's true.
that's
That's totally true for me as well. I think first and foremost, yeah, yourself. It's like you kind of, but then there's also a element in my head where I'm like, if it's someone that I really respect,
yeah, it's nice to get the props from people that you respect, you know?
it more important, it's as nice to get as it is to get the props. If I respect you a lot, it kind of does sting a little bit if you don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the part of the question where I'm trying to be honest with myself about.
Okay, yeah,
Where
that's a fair take for sure.
only if I respect you though, like as a human, because I have to kind of respect. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so there's a difference. Like,
For
yeah,
me, I think I want the respect from people who I respect their pen more so
Yeah,
than
yeah,
as a
yeah.
human. You know, I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know a lot of, the rappers from Toronto I talk to or
True.
whatever. I
Yes.
don't know if they're
Yeah.
awful human when they're not talking to me. I assume they're good people, you
Yeah,
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Scratch what I said. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
But as far as like, I want other guys who I think are dope lyrically to think
Yeah.
I'm dope lyrically, whereas the opinions of
right.
I don't know, people who aren't necessarily other artists I don't really worry about so much,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um how
Yeah.
about
That's true.
yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants the props from their peers really, but how about how important is having a mentor in the game? Somebody to show you the ropes.
Hmm. It's a good question. I mean, it definitely helps. It doesn't mean that people can't figure it out on their own, but
It's a
yeah,
tough
I don't
one
know.
for
That's
dude. It's a tough one for us because we never had that.
Yeah.
Really.
It's another way to ask people, did you have a mentor, really?
Yeah. I mean, I
Asking
guess
that,
we did. We did in a way. Like even like the guys that we sort
yeah,
of
like
looked
there's
up
always the
to.
big homies around, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah. But they weren't really like deliberately mentoring.
no, it wasn't like they helped us like make our art or anything. They
Yeah.
definitely were like supportive of it, you know what I mean?
They
But
were influencing us without knowing it, honestly. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
right.
But not deliberately mentoring. And then that could even go to artists that we were listening to. Like I could say Redman was a mentor to me. That's just because I looked at him like he was a superhero when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like so like that's a way of that's more influencing than
Yeah, it's
mentoring.
more that's more of an influence. Yeah, yeah.
But I do think it's important and what's cool. Yeah, it's kind of a tough thing because even younger guys that I've came across now that I'm this age and have been doing it for this long,
Yeah.
there's some people that are super like receive it well, and then other people that are just it doesn't matter what you tell them and they're gonna do what they do because that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But I do think mentoring can be important. And if it's received uh when you're young, you know what I mean? If you can sort of tap into that and not be stubborn, then I believe it can be important because you can sort of like fast track a bit more. Or you can sort of like, everyone's gonna go through or has to go through what they need to go through. But
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I
yeah,
think it's helpful. It's helpful in the sense of you can kind of fast track,
yeah.
but I don't necessarily think it's like it's important. Like, you can still get to that end point without it, but
True.
it's definitely helpful to have it. You can get to that point quicker, you know?
You just have to put more weight on people like Redman being an influence who doesn't know he's mentoring people.
Exactly. Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
something I
Yeah.
was thinking about with influences this weekend. I'm laying on a beach just daydreaming, and I was like, "Yo, everything influences you, whether you consciously
Yeah.
like think I want to write like this guy or not. Anything you
yeah.
hear, and then I was like, whoa, there's a you could have negative influences that are like not in the way that they're leading you to do bad things. I mean, like a reverse influence where it's like you see something in society and you don't want to be like that thing, you
hmm
know.
hmm
And so your art goes the other direction
Yeah.
in an attempt to do that. And so I was trying to figure out how I can ask guys like, have you seen anything like that that made you think like, oh, I don't want to do that with my fucking music? Um, can you think of any like reverse influences? Does this make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it makes
Okay.
perfect sense what you're saying. Um,
It's a
yeah, I mean,
tough
I don't
question
want
to
to.
put you right on the spot to ask, I guess. But
No, I
like,
mean,
It's a
I don't
thinker.
want to shit on anyone by any. So that's kind of the
I
thing.
know that's
But
where my head was
you
going
wouldn't
too.
have to name a name either, though, right?
but
Just
definitely, there's. I feel like I never want to be the guy that's making clickbait rap. Which I guess kind of ties in, even kind of what we were talking about before about just like making a hockey song because your team
because
is in the
that's what the
playoffs.
trend is.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely I don't ever want to be that guy personally. No knock on anyone that is their thing. There's a lane for everyone, but for me personally, yeah, I'm cool.
And just to defend the people who have done songs like that, I can
Yeah,
also see from an MC's point of view where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to run out of words. So fuck it. I can sit here for 15 minutes and write a song about the Oilers
true.
and we'll
Yeah,
put that out to the internet, and it won't be my crowning achievement, but it'll be another fucking thing that I've done in the universe. Like,
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, there's always different perspectives. So that's what I mean. I don't want
yeah,
to shit on anyone or anything. Just personally
definitely.
for what I'm doing with my art. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Some stuff like I feel like guys are on the like, you know, Lil Wayne in '07 tip where it was just like, I'm gonna rap so much, or like Lil B in the SoundCloud era or
Right.
whatever, where it's just like, yeah, I'm rapping every fucking day, we're dropping something, and like if
Lil
one day
B.
it's the thing that is a trend, eh.
Remember when DMX was making fun of him? Lil Beat, Lil who? Lil Beat.
Oh
Remember that?
man, DMX was too real for reality, man. He was
Yeah.
hating on everybody, and
He was hating on Lil B hard there. There was one clip that's hilarious. He was making fun of him.
dude, there are classic clips of him hating on Lil B, classic clips of him hating on Kanye, Diddy. Like
Oh
he,
yeah.
in retrospect, he nailed a
RIP.
lot of what he was saying. Drake, he didn't fucking like Drake at all when Drake came in the industry, and I mean, people don't all hate Drake, but it
Rex
it
was
definitely
RIP, man.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
to DMX. Um. All right. Well, let's call that enough with the how important questions. Um. And here, something I ask everybody before we wrap things up is, can you describe your local hip hop scene?
Uh, dope. I don't know. I like it. There's a lot of dope people around for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Diverse,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
cool,
think that's a good one too.
cool,
No,
broad.
only words that begin with D are allowed. Dope and diverse. No, okay.
Vast. What about vast?
Vast. Yeah, you feel like the Edmonton hip hop scene is vast?
It's vast, but it's
I mean, it is vast in the way that guys like the three of us, there are still artists who like we don't
so
know
many.
and who we don't like. Sometimes I'll come across an artist like, no, sir, you mentioned Buddy that opened for you, and I was like, how do I not know of an Edmonton-based rapper?
Right,
Like,
right.
So yeah, vast is probably a good word.
Yeah.
Spread out, but like that's what I mean by vast, you know, where it's like
Okay.
lots going on, but not like contained into one sort of like that's the hip hop scene. You know what I mean? I
Right.
feel like it's kind of vastly spread, but lots happening, you know?
Edmonton's hip hop scene kind of spiderwebs out into different
Yeah.
pockets too, right? Like there's some rappers who will go do the like EDM festivals in Edmonton, and then there's some rappers who will like do the kind of like battle rap scene or whatever, like, and go have the organized battle rap leagues, or you know, guys that are doing shows various different places, and you know, yeah, there's a lot of different pocket scenes.
Yeah.
For sure.
And for sure, I think. Um, any artists you guys want to shout out who people should be up on?
Modern Man.
Modern Man. Yeah.
Yes. Modern Man, the homie Ryan Stone, Cowboy. Also shouts to New Self,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
homie that I made the Wimp song with.
Yeah. I've seen him
Shout
online
to
often.
shout to Self as well. He
Shout
just
out to Self.
dropped the EP.
Self,
Super
the
dope.
bluest
Oh
eye.
shit, is he old Self now?
I know.
Sorry,
I know.
Self. I don't know.
I
If
have
there's a new
I-
Self.
I'm about to. The next single that I'm gonna put out is with Self, the bluest eye from the Liberators.
Very dope. He just
So
dropped
then
an
I'll
album
have
like a week
Yeah,
or
yeah.
two ago that
Yeah,
everybody
that's
should
what
check
I was
out if
just
they
saying.
haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I'll have a song with New Self and then a song with Self.
Self the bluest, yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of them know each other. I know both of them. It's like one of those. You know, like
I did
they're
have the
both
thought
super
that
dope.
those guys could do a song together and,
Yeah.
you know, have it be called like Self-Reflection or something like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
Yeah.
could work nicely. Anything we can plug, shows or tours, or you know, the website where people can get the album, or anything else? What should we tell people to do?
Yeah, I mean the Peels is on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp as well. Yeah, I
Nohsur on
mean,
Instagram.
yeah. NOHSUR, yeah.
That's pretty
Um,
much. We're just the most active on Instagram. Any shows, anything's happening, any new songs dropping, it's all posted on there. Any things like that.
yeah, nice. What about you, Jimmy? You got music coming up? Where are you at in your musical journey?
I do, man. I mean, I've been consistently putting out singles now
Right.
for the last little while.
Is this the rollout to an album?
Yep, it's not stopping. Yeah, over the summer, over the fall. I don't have like a specific super locked in sort of thing at this moment for an album, but I have a good idea. And
Don't set a deadline. If you set a deadline, you end up
yeah,
just being like, well, fuck it. We don't need the scratches on here. Let's just send it out and meet the,
yeah,
the deadline. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of just seeing how it goes because I'm sort of building this. I've never rolled out a record like this, like with the previous bodies of music that I've put out. I've never done it like this. And I think me and you talked about it a little bit too, where I'm sort of like before I would have all the songs finished, uh, and then like work on them and then like put it out as a project. I'm sort of just kind of like moving as I go now and working on stuff where I know that it's gonna eventually be this
Okay.
conceptual thing, but I'm
Mhm.
releasing things as I go and sort of being more consistent and building this sort of momentum to it rather than just like working behind the scenes and then dropping it. You know what I
So,
mean?
but you've got
Yeah.
the big picture
I do.
or down
Yeah.
the line, and now it's
There's-
just filling in the pieces of it, kind of.
Exactly. And
Okay.
releasing it and sort of like letting you into it slowly as I'm working on it and doing it and dropping singles of it, as opposed to just working behind the scenes and you not hearing from me until it comes out.
Yeah, I think the new era demands that you do it that way, really.
That's and
Kind of the thing, yeah. Like you get rewarded for consistency. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The algorithm
And-
likes you posting more stuff than
Yeah,
once every
absolutely,
few
yeah.
months or whatever. Yeah.
and I've put out a few records now at this point, never doing it that way. So I thought, okay, well now I'm at this point. Why am I gonna keep doing it the same way I've been doing my previous records? Why not try this, especially since it's part of this new era? You know what I mean? And let's keep it moving, let's keep growing, let's keep, you know,
For sure. Keep it moving.
Can't-
What about a joint album from you two? Like there was one track on this on Peels that you guys both rapped on, and of course you've both rapped on tracks before that on
For
Jimmy's
sure.
catalog.
yeah, we definitely have to tap into that.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
definitely think it's a thing that will happen in the future for sure.
we both have our individual ambitions, it seems, with
Yeah.
certain things, and then when the time is right, that definitely will happen, because it has
I mean,
to.
we're always working together, anyways. You know what I mean? So
Feels like a natural fit for two guys who are always making music and have been making music for 20 years
sure.
or whatever. To, you know.
But when
Yeah.
it does happen, we have to link up with those analog brewing homies, Kyle,
okay.
and we have to make like a collab with them where they get one beer that's non-alcoholic and one beer that's, you know what I mean?
Word.
Oh, okay. That's smart.
Especially-
Smart marketing there.
That
Yeah.
might there's something there for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be a good way to market an album. Now, I've seen people, Roshan was selling albums in chip bags. He was, you know, you buy his album, you get an SR code in a bag of chips, and
Oh,
the
that's
front of
dope.
it, like, you know, looks like a Lay's, but I think it said Roshan across the front or whatever.
That's
but
dope.
Because
That's dope.
Well,
You
'cause
gotta
the
have
point
some
of that-
smart marketing.
the point of that being too is because like me and Kyle have always thought of calling a duo of us together, Boss Layer.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
we would let's release that shit out on here so people can start to
For sure.
tap into it. Now we'll be forced to make a record. But we'll put out a record under the name Boss Layer.
I
Like the
like that.
final boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Exactly,
which is why I was mentioning Analog Brewing in Edmonton, because they're really like glitchy video gamey vibe.
Yeah, like visually, that's the whole
Visually,
aesthetic
that's
with those
their-
guys.
that's
Yeah,
their-
yeah.
Analog, I guess
So,
that makes sense.
If
Yeah.
we ever
for
put
sure.
out a Boss Layer record, we could have that collab with them. It's like the same kind of.
For
I
sure.
forgot to ask if you guys are going to do physical copies of Peel and what you were just saying about releasing, you know, 2 cans as an album is something that I've been thinking about a lot, that people should just release albums on t-shirt. Because like the last live show I went to, I bought a vinyl and a CD, and then I got home and I couldn't play either of them.
Yeah.
You know, so like one of them, I have Yolanda Sergeant and Comrades fucking
Yeah.
new CD, and I can't play it on ATSIC. It's not out yet. This isn't on streaming. This is
Yeah,
they were on tour, and I bought that live. You know, when I saw them live, and I'd like to play it, but like I don't have a CD drive, so it is what it is. I guess I'll play it when it hits streaming and I can buy it. But
yeah. No, I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
so I don't know, physical copies of Peel or no?
Yeah, like I still made physicals. Like there's CDs, but
Okay.
but yeah, I'm very much in the same boat as you. Like I cop CDs from people, but I do it as a means to support. I don't actually have the means to play it.
Yeah, well, and you know, I left the
I
show.
have a CD player.
I mean, I do actually have a player. I can play it for myself, but I can't like get it on my computer to play it on ATSIC.
Gotcha.
So, you know, it's unfortunate, but I walked out of there saying to my wife that, like, you know, if they were selling T-shirts, we would have both bought T-shirts, given them the same amount of money, and we would walk around being billboards for them
For sure.
in the future. So
For sure.
You need things like that, man.
yeah, I mean, I just don't know if like if CDs are the wave anymore. Who was it? Fucking somebody told me last week. Stephen Hero. I was talking to Stephen Hero from the East Coast. He's dope. If you guys don't know his music, check it out. Blue collar, you know, class solidarity music all the time. But he was talking about how
Okay.
he feels like you know, CDs are kind of just something for the landfill at this point. Like you're just creating more stuff to fill landfills somewhere or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have that nagging feeling too. Like we don't need more plastic, do we? I don't know.
You know what
Yeah.
would be cool and almost better, in the same way that people are buying CDs to support because it's like the cover of the album and it's cool and it's a little pamphlet,
Yeah.
almost like a business card at that point, right?
Right.
But what would be cool is to make separate, deliberate prints, just little 8 by whatever prints
Right.
with a QR code or whatever and all your info on the back, and a really, really cool like thing that might not, it's not the album cover, it's not the artwork of the album, but it's something else that has to do with the album, and that's the print that you sell for $10 instead of a CD for $10.
You know, and if it was a standardized size that you sold in a little frame or something, you know,
Right,
you can buy
exactly.
frames for real cheap.
Something like
Yeah.
that, like a really cool print, you know, because people want to just buy something tangible to support. That's
Yeah.
usually what the place of the CD is, even if they don't play the CD.
Yeah.
So why not just
100%.
have something cooler that's an actual art that they might be able to like put it in a little frame.
Yeah,
put
hang it
on
up
their-
in the crib. Yeah.
Yeah, hang it up in the crib or put it on the little, you know, or a fridge magnet or something. You know what I mean? Like
When
that
people used to love displaying their, you know, CD collection or whatever, I had fucking several racks
yeah.
that my CD collection was displayed on back in the day and shit. And
Yeah, me
like, I'm
too.
sure people do that with the boxes of vinyl and stuff, you know.
For sure.
So I could see people actually like if there was a standardized size that everybody
Yeah.
sold, and it came in like just a plain black frame. You know, I got a bunch of little black framed pictures in my bathroom right now. It'd be cool
Yeah,
if
that's
there
what I
were a
mean.
bunch of different albums instead of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chat says CDs are for that feeling of having something tangible and an experience you had with an artist, a little token of the memory. Yeah, that
Exactly.
checks out. People
Yeah.
love CDs. I understand that everybody loves to buy physical copies of albums, and you get the liner notes, and like I was a liner notes kid.
Right.
I love reading liner notes, and I love the art, the visuals, but
Me too.
at the same time you buy the thing and then it collects dust, and like I pay for a storage unit so that I can have all of the stuff I've collected over the years sit in a fucking crate somewhere. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's tough. It's
I feel you.
tough call. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun. You know, thanks for hanging out, and
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Dude.
anytime,
Always.
anytime. I do want to start telling people that I talk to, you guys are hardworking and you probably never ever have a Friday off, I can imagine. But Fridays, I've been doing these streams at Sick Radar. I listen to 6, 7, 8 hours worth of new Canadian rap. If you're ever bored on a Friday, you know, typically these are happening late morning, afternoons or whatever. Come through on Twitch, say hi. I can get you on stream here if you've got something you want to promote, or if you just want to listen to the new single with me or whatever. But been trying to invite more people, more artists through to do that. It's easy to send Zoom links around to people, so open
sure.
invite for that all the time. And yeah, thanks for doing this, guys. People
Let
should
me know
definitely
about
check
those
your
2
music.
joints.
Yes.
Let me know.
Two joints. We got a remix from my last EP that
Coolies.
Jimmy did a
So
sing.
dope.
Yeah, Jimmy did a verse on it. So that will probably be out soon. You know, I told you I wanted to do it in the spring, dude. I just procrastinate. I was
Toss it out there, man.
yeah. It's time to just post the fucking thing. I'll just put it
Just
online
post it.
here. We'll get it.
The people want to hear it.
The people want to hear it. And then I got a different track that we did last summer too. The Spray Away track, talking about graffiti and shit. So yeah, we'll drop those.
Also, go listen to Peels.
Go listen to Peels, yes, and go listen to Sunk, Jimmy's new single.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.
Sounds good, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. If you enjoy this type of thing, hit follow. There's a new interview every Tuesday. I just put the schedule on screen here. Coming up on Sunday, actually, through June, I'm doing a couple of 2 interviews per week situation. And then I think I'm taking July, August off again. That was what I did last year, and it worked pretty good. And then back for interviews in September. Yeah, on Sunday, June 8th, I'm talking to Epic, Edmonton-based MC. Shouts to him. He was in chat. We talked a little bit about some of his classic music. After that, I talked to Max Wins, I believe, on Tuesday, June 10th. He's a Winnipeg-based artist. I've played a lot of his stuff on ATSIC over the past few years, and it's more like on a melodic trap vibe than a lot of the stuff that I tend to gravitate towards. But he's very lyrical with his output, and yeah, I appreciate and enjoy his music, so I'm looking forward to talking to him. June 15th, I'm very excited to talk to Quake Matthews. We were going to talk last month, but Quake has an album coming out June 12th called Patio Season that I'm looking forward to hearing when it drops, and then I'll be able to get some questions about it ready. So we'll talk about that album a couple days after it drops. That should be a big one. Definitely come by for that. After Quake, June 17th, I'm talking to Slick Jack, Montreal-based rapper. And then June 24th, I'm talking to Harvey Dent, duo from Saskatoon. So all across the map, this is what we do every week on mixcloud.com/Doobyis. You can hear After the Smoke is Clear. That's my weekly mix show. Doobyis.com is the hub for all of this. Hit the post section, and over on Doobyis.com, you'll be able to find a new blog post for every weekly mix that I put up. You'll find every interview that I do over there, and links to all the socials and all that stuff. So if you enjoy this type of thing, definitely tap in, hit the follow, hit the like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Thanks for popping up in live chat to talk with us. Anybody who ends up watching this over on YouTube could come through on Twitch. The more the merrier in live chat. And I do, read as I'm trying to talk to people. It's a little bit of a balancing act and plate spinning competition, but I do my best to keep up with chat and try to sometimes read some things. If people have questions, I might pretend that I thought of it if you've got a good enough question. But yeah, appreciate everybody for coming through. This was Flying Formation number, I think, 102. And I'll catch you on the next one on Sunday with Epic. Peace.